We have some competitive updates for season 12, which is going to launch in just a couple of days, and there are definitely some exciting things in here and a couple of things that I don't really know which way they are going to go. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. I will say, you are going to see me in my pajamas here. This is my day off. I'm washing my sheets and everything, so no stream. I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff. This typically would come out on Monday, but I'm getting this in there because I have something planned for Monday already. So we're just going to go ahead. You're going to see this on Saturday. An extra video for you today. So this is written by Gavin Winter. He's the head of the systems team. I'm pretty sure he's just going to be talking about some of the changes that are going to be coming to not matchmaking, but like the actual game themselves. Other than this one, this is actually matchmaking. So Avoidus teammate, they've talked about this before, but it is finally here. There are now 15 Avoid slots. Yeah, actually 15. So basically what this does now is that you're not guaranteed to have all 15 people not in your game. You basically just prioritize which people you don't want, right? So these top 3, they will never ever be in your game, and they will not reset. You can always have 3 people that you do not want in your game, which is, you know what? There are some people that piss you off so bad in ranked because they threw so bad or they were just really mean, that you never ever have to worry about them. I feel like that's really great. Just some complete outliers, right? Then you'll have, over the past 7 days, you can just put avoid, more people do avoid, up to 12. And what this does is that as it's looking for matches, as it's longer the time goes, the more people it kind of like X's out. So it'll go like, okay, so let's say it's been 2 minutes. Let's just take this 15th person off and we'll put them in the pool, right? And just in case, right? Then we'll go to the 14th and the 13th until it finds a game, right? So any of these people are technically liable of being in your games, but it's much less likely for number 4 to be in your game than number 15, right? I think this is going to be a really good system. I doubt a majority of the player base is going to feel this when it comes to matchmaking, but I will say if it feels like your matches are taking longer to take or to make, basically, maybe remove a couple people from your avoid list, because then it will never deal with those people and will only start with, like, if I only have 3 people, it'll only start taking out people like up here, right? So just know about that. I feel like this is going to be better. If you don't avoid people, you probably won't notice any differences to matchmaking. If you do avoid people a lot, maybe you will. I doubt it unless you're very, very high rank or very, very, very low rank. So don't worry about that. I think this is just going to be a net benefit overall. And they've been talking about this for a while, and I think this is a really good system just to have a couple people that you guarantee will not be in your team. Okay. Competitive drives. These are interesting because I misunderstood what these were. I thought these were like competitive season. So like over the course of a season, you'd have like a competitive season basically where you'd have different types of rewards coming. That's not actually true. A drive is just going to take place over like the course of a couple days. They say it's going to be, for this season, it's going to be a weekend at the end of the season. And every match you play in comp, you'll have a chance to earn rewards. So basically it's like there's this score that you get, and every win will progress that score, and the more that you win, the more that you'll get different prizes. Some are going to be bigger amounts of comp points, others are going to be these new type signatures, which is like, this goes over your battle tag, right? So you can see it in game here, this Lucio image, you can see it on the screen. It'll show up in the play of the game, it'll show up in the eliminated screen. I think this is a great cosmetic. I cannot believe that it took them this long to put this in here. This is a great way to show your own type of, like individuality without having to add any extra stuff. You know, they don't have to bring back player icons necessarily if you can see all the time stuff that you want. It's going to take them a lot of time to get a lot of these in the game because it sounds like these are going to be basically tied to comp, at least for the time being, unless they're going to add them later into other things. I think that would be great if they did that. But yeah, so we're not going to get the signatures right away. We're going to have to wait until this drive. I think this is really cool. I think these signatures are great. I'm not exactly sure why they're making these only related to like a short amount of time, this feels like a great way to incentivize people to play more comp and reward them for playing more comp over the course of a season. You know, you're trying to build to this really big battle tag to be like, oh, wow, you really did play a lot and you have something to show for it other than gold or emerald weapons, right? We'll see how it goes for this season. For that like little drive, maybe they can still do these like little weekend things where you get bonus or there's extra things. But I think this is like I also think like you can see like there's obviously a theme here, right? This is what's it called? Like the base one, and then you add to the base one, right? You get these different effects for it and all of that. I think a really good way that you can, make it like a battle pass, honestly. The more that you play comp, the more unique things you get. I think I would really want a name tag that's like not necessarily just like kind of what everyone has and it's just like their player level for comp. I'd like to just have anything like think about the name card pictures that we have. You could do stuff like that for the signatures. I feel like that's just really easy. It looks like it's going to show up here too. You can see that right there. We'll have to see how it gets implemented, but I feel like there's way more that you can do with this system, and you can put this in many other places. I'd love to see it not only be in comp. All right, I'm not going to talk too much about resetting ranks, but it sounds like they're not as happy with how few people, like, it's basically impossible to get to champ 1. So it sounds like the curve is going to flatten a little bit, and it's going to spread more people out. So you might end up getting a little bit of a boost. But otherwise, yeah, it sounds like just regular comp stuff. Don't worry too much about it. It's going to be your MMR is the same. It's just going to reset kind of your SR, right? So on the back end, it knows your general matchmaking skill, but what you see is getting reset and all and everything. So that is that. Wave respawn. This is the update to group respawns. Basically, the frustrating thing about group respawns is that you would die and sometimes other people would die later, and it would extend your respawn time. And it just felt really clunky and weird. What they're trying to do here is to basically eliminate that frustration and really add, like, what's it called? It basically what's happening here is that you're going to be spawning in waves, and I'll go down the breakdown, but you're only ever going to lose time off of your respawn instead of gain it, right? You can see here before the group respawn, this is in quick play matches, so the Grandmaster data might not be super accurate because I don't know how many people are playing what's it called? Quick play in Grandmaster, but you can tell that as skill goes up, the group respawn actually made a much bigger difference to stop one-sided matches. But I'm pretty sure that this area, the higher ranks were not the problem, right? They were trying to solve the one-sided matches for the lower ranks, and it doesn't seem like it really did that. Technically it did, right? Like 2%, but that's not exactly significant, right? I think this system will hopefully alleviate this more and specifically help these people on the spectrum, because I think that's what, it's frustrating to just have people walk in and run in. I think you kind of realize that even with that kind of respawn system, people are still just going to run in regardless. I think the waves will hopefully help. And if you get team wiped, or if somebody, basically the way that it works is that default respawns have increased to 12 seconds from 10. And when you die, a wave starts, right? One person dies, the wave starts. If somebody else dies within that 6 seconds, then they will throw them into that wave, and then they will respawn at the same time as that first respawner, right? So you are maximum going to be at 12, and minimum you're going to be at 6, right? And that could be anybody. If two people die, if one person dies and then 3 seconds later 2 people dies, that first person gets a 12-second spawn. The 2 people get 9-second spawns, and they all come out together, right? Same thing. If somebody dies 6 seconds later, they get a 6-second spawn. Somebody gets a 12-second spawn. If nobody dies, if one person dies and then nobody else dies, they only get a 10-second spawn. So again, you only get time back, right? So basically, what is this going to do, right? It's going to reduce staggering, sure, but it's going to get people into fights more like faster. You're actually going to have more fights overall, it seems like to me. Even though the respawn time has increased, I have a feeling that, this is actually going to make it so you don't have to wait around as much. You're just going to be able to kind of go and get ready for the next thing, right? A couple things to note: they're disabled in overtime, and then general overtime spawns are higher. Basically, it seems like they really want maps not to they want maps to be finished more often. They don't want to make the last part of the map to be super duper defender sided. Basically, although I will say at the very end of like payload maps, apparently the anti-sol systems that are there are still there, and they're disabling the wave respawn near the end of the game. We'll have to see how that plays. I don't know if group respawn has been completely removed from quick play, or that group respawn will only exist at the end, and then in comp it'll be the regular, what we're used to. We'll have to see. What do I think of all this? I don't know. I think this is fine. I think it definitely feels better that you're only going to get time back on your respawn. And hopefully they'll be able to have more fights on certain points. And we'll talk about a different game mode later. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about these. They don't seem too bad to me. I don't think this is really like anti teamwork, or I know a lot of people have said like, oh, like staggering is no longer like useful, but really, I think staggering it's kind of lame. Let's be real, right? Staggering one. Well, actually, sorry. I've messed myself up there. Let's talk about your team staggering themselves, right? They go in later and now they're not punished for it, right? The way that I want to see this is more like you're encouraged to kind of try to trade and get one and then kind of like reset to neutral, right? So the other team has to be much more cautious about the people who are just kind of running in and maybe trying to trade one, and like that's their only goal. I think that is fine. Yes, it like, kind of encouraging staggering per se is maybe not like the best, but I don't think that's really how it's gonna feel. The other version is that now that respawns are closer, faster, or what's it called, longer, there's a world potentially where staggering an enemy is better, although I guess now that I'm saying that, the respawn timer for one individual is the same, so maybe it's not. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. I feel like this is gonna take a long time for us to really get into about like how much it has changed the game and how many team fights happen and all of that. I'm here to try it. I think this is fine. I'm not exactly a fan of it coming right to comp. But I did want the system, at least in quick play, to be changed because I've never really been a big fan of it. Okay, Flashpoint. Basically, TLDR for Flashpoint, they have added speed, like boost pads at the spawn gates so you can get out faster. And if you are shot at or you shoot somebody with that speed boost, it instantly go away. It is only for getting back to point, right? That is the idea. So characters that, you don't have to have a Lucio, or you don't feel like you're walking for a million years. My hope for this is that, one, it should have more fights on each Flashpoint point, which should feel better because I feel like some Flashpoint points you basically only get like one good fight and that's kind of it because of how the respawns work, and that's a little frustrating. This should hopefully alleviate that. I feel like this might make that game mode feel more fun, that you can set up properly and get like more fights to try and break. Because Flashpoint points, geez, it's so hard to say, overall are pretty defender favored. It's really hard to attack them. So getting more opportunities to hopefully will feel better. Also, you can't go over the movement speed cap of 75%. And I feel like I'm missing something here. I think there's a world where this will allow for higher variety of characters and comps to be played on these maps, because it feels like if you're not running Lucio or some sort of like fast brawl, you're kind of trolling. Now that could, since the points are so defensive, that's why I think it could work where you could just have like these slower comps that are defensive, and then you can get back to points faster because of that speed boost. I don't think this is a story of like other types of maps like Control, where it sometimes feel like you have to be Lucio speeding in and out, and that's like kind of the one effective strategy. I don't think Flashpoint really works like that. I think it just felt like it has to work like that because of Lucio being so key, trying to get people between points and get them back to the point. We've seen it before. You may remember I think it was either the World Cup or it was just like Florida Mayhem in Owl finals where they were playing like Ana Bap or like Kiri Bap or something with Bastion Sig on Flashpoint, and it did not look bad. It might have been a counter pick, but it's still like Lucio is not necessary for these points to work or to feel good. He's necessary to get around the map, and hopefully that speed boost is going to help. At least that's what I think. Overall, though, definitely a great change. I think just getting back to the points and having more fights. My biggest criticism for Flashpoint is that. So definitely good here. So overall for this dev update, I think that's what we're director's take. Sorry. Very good. This is a good start. I think season 12 is shaping up to be really good for playing the game. And I've said it. If you've seen my other two videos, you've probably already heard me say this. And you'll see it again on Monday when that video comes out. I want a big balance patch to go with this. I want big changes, big changes there as well, right? We've got everything else kind of shaping up to be pretty good. New game mode, new hero, new updates to this that are hopefully going to feel pretty good. I think overall, these are positive. At least they're in a good direction. We're just going to need that good balance patch, right? And even though the season may feel a little light, it really isn't. And if we get that really big balance patch, I feel like no one's going to feel that way. If the game is, again, like just really fun to play and get into, especially with the rank reset, I didn't even talk about that. It's shaping up really well. I'm starting, as more and more has come out, I'm starting to get more and more excited for this season. And I really hope you guys are too, because I think this is going to be one of their big seasons going forward. Juno's a really fun character. The Clash updates sound great. I'm not going to make a full video on those, but yeah, they sound amazing. I'll do a Clash video later, like kind of like what are the first impressions of Anubis and the new changes to the game mode. So yeah, that's going to be it for me. Leave me a comment. What are you feeling about a lot of these changes? What are you feeling about season 12 overall? What do you want to see in the balance patch? Like and subscribe while you're at it. Typically, these are streamed at twitch.tv/LaytonHemingway, but I'm off from streaming today. That'd be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays is when you can catch me. If you're watching this video on Saturday, I will be live later tonight. Not exactly sure when. I've got some friends coming into town, but I will be live. And then check out my Discord if you want to give me a hot take. If you want to just talk Overwatch with people, there's always people talking in there. It's really good community experience. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.